Hello, you guys, and welcome to our podcast. We're so happy to be with you guys today, and we have a really good and cool subject that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to talk about gratitude. Gratitude in the midst of trials, gratitude when you're feeling like you should be happy, all of it.
Yeah. And so we wanted to start off by talking about the definition of the word gratitude because it was really cool when we looked it up. So the word gratitude means the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for, and to return kindness. And so, do you want to?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with gratitude that we saw when we were reading the definition was it's the quality of being thankful. I don't know how many times I've heard people say, gratitude is all about being thankful.
Yeah.
Gratitude is all about being kind. But it's like, okay, hold on. There's a really key word in this definition, and it's the quality of being thankful. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it just makes me think of, quality. What does that really mean? So sometimes we'll just say, hey, thanks, and it could be genuine, but I think that when it talks about quality, it really talks about the heart. Like it has to come from your heart,
Yes.
And I think once we talk a little bit more about it, we'll touch it a little bit more. And then the other word that really stood out to me was readiness to show appreciation, right? So it's like, we should be always ready to be grateful, to show appreciation, and I think that talking about the subject, we can all agree that there are so many areas, so many different times when we could be grateful, so.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think the other thing to kind of note too is gratitude is a choice.
That's good.
We get to choose.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what comes at us. It doesn't matter. I think one of the definitions was to return kindness.
Yeah.
Right? So just knowing that, wait a minute, I actually get to choose. We always say like an attitude of gratitude, right? Just having the attitude towards it. But also we get a choice to show gratitude.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and it just made me think too of I think that sometimes when one thing, I don't know, did we say this gratitude in the midst of a trial? It just makes me think that when you're going through a trial and sometimes to change the perspective of the situation, when you can choose to be grateful in that moment, there will be a shift where I think that, I know it's happened in my life where you will actually, by showing gratitude and being grateful for what you have in the midst of that trial, finding something to be grateful, it shifts your perspective. And so no longer are you focusing on the trial, on what you're going through, but now you're actually finding things to be grateful for in your life, so.
Yeah, no, it's good. I'll give a quick example of that. So just a few weeks ago, my daughter got in a car accident. And, it was raining, it was slippery. I mean, I slid, in my car. And so she slid. Thankfully, she was not going very fast, but she slid and hit a pole. And the very top of it was like dangling.
It was scary, yeah.
And so the guys saw, they ran out to her and they were like, oh my gosh, we were afraid that this thing was going to fall on top of her car. So here's, my daughter, and she FaceTimes me right away.
Yeah.
So these guys are like, are you okay? Like they're trying to help her, and she's like, Mom, she's telling me. I said, it's okay, and so anyways, the very top of that pole winds up flying backwards, the other way, and lands in the bush. And so I didn't know about that right away. So when we picked her up, of course, I'm like, how are you? I'm like, so thankful that she was okay. Yeah. She wasn't hurt. Nobody else was hurt. But here her car is in the middle of this roundabout, just, on this pole. And so I get there and hug her, love on her, all the stuff. And I was thankful that she was okay. But then once I found that out, the guys are still out there. And, thankfully a friend saw, so he stopped to be with her. And then my husband was there. And when they were telling me about it, I was like, it was like a new level of gratitude. Because I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I was so grateful that really God was watching out for, for her, and this thing that could have really hurt her, besides the car accident, right? They're talking about another, and so this whole, like, when we talk about, like, because obviously now we have to get a new car, like, there's other, you know, there's things that come into it, but I'm still just like, I'm just so grateful.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like, you know, and then my husband too, it's not like we're like, oh my gosh, now we have to find another car, like,
yeah,
you know, because we could have been like, this is such a, you know, financial hit, like all these things, but it's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like, our daughter is fine. Like, she went and played a soccer game that same day. You know what I mean? And so finding the gratitude in the fact that, you know, she's okay.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. You know, that's an example of, in the midst of something that could, you know, we could have looked at it a different way or been mad at her, you know, which it wasn't even her fault. But all of that to say, you know, it's finding the gratitude.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And then we have a couple of verses too that we wanted to share because they were just so good. Do you have yours up?
Yeah, I'll read mine. So the one I was thinking of was 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18. And it says, always be joyful, which, whoa. Always be joyful. Never stop praying.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's, you know, that's telling me something right there. Be thankful in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you who belong to Christ Jesus. Okay, so always be joyful. Never stop praying. So how am I always joyful? Well, I'm always praying, right? It says never stop praying. Be thankful in all circumstances. All circumstances. It doesn't just say in the easy circumstances or the happy circumstances. It says in all circumstances. For this is God's will for you. Okay? So if this is God's will, you know, how many times do we go throughout our day, at least I do, where I'm like, God, what's the will for my life?
Yeah.
Well, the will for my life is to be thankful in all circumstances.
Yeah.
Like, that just blows my mind.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah. Yeah, and the verse that I have is Psalms 100, verse 8, and it says, enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. For the Lord is good and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generation.
Yeah.
So, so basically, you know, what it says here is we enter his gates with thanksgiving. So sometimes when you're going through things and you're just, you know, you're just like, the circumstance just doesn't seem like it's one that you can give praise for, that you can be thankful for.
Yeah.
But if you can just enter his gates with thankfulness and praise his name, then I think that what happens is, I'm just seeing a picture, is like when you enter his gates and you're just saying, God, thank you for what I have right here in front of me, you know, like, you know, in Trent's situation, you can be thankful that her life, that she was safe, right? That didn't happen. And because I believe what happens is you understand that it says here, for the Lord is good and his love endures forever. You understand, you start feeling and you start understanding that God loves you, that his love for you is so much more than what you're currently going through, you know? And I think that sometimes that could be a piece that's missing in their life, you know? When we're going through things and it feels so hard. You know, but you have to make a choice. You have to find something that you can just be thanking God for, you know? So.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So let's say, you know, somebody is listening that or watching that is going through maybe just a hard season in life. You know, what would be a piece of advice, you know, that maybe we can give to them about gratitude? Like, how do we find gratitude, you know? I mean, the scriptures say, you know, to enter with thanksgiving. It says to always be joyful, to never stop praying, be thankful. Okay, but when you're in a hard spot, you know, when you're in a hard season of life, how do we practically, you know, get into this place and choose gratitude? You
know, I think for me, the biggest thing is my family. Like, when I start looking what's in my four walls, what I have, and I think another thing too is we talked about this. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Was another word for gratitude is respect and honor. And so I feel like sometimes when things just don't feel right, or there's just this, like this grind, one way that I do it is I have to make sure that the people in my home, that they know that I'm thankful for them, that my kids know that I'm thankful for them, that my husband knows. And so one way that I do that is, it's through honor, so I think for me, it's just pausing and recognizing what's in front of me, what I have, not focusing on what I don't have, what I could have, what I wish I had, but what is actually right in front of me.
Yes, I will 100% agree. I would say two things that come to my mind is that it's focusing on the things that are going right. Because even when you're in a hard season, and let's say that it feels like you are, there's so many things coming at you, everybody can find one thing. One thing that you are like, you know what, thank you, God, that I have this, or thank you, that I'm able to, whether it's finances, whether it's relationships, whether it's, your children, your husband, friends, parents, sister, like everybody has at least one thing that they can be grateful for. And so I think, focusing on that, what are you focusing on?
That's right.
Right? Because if you're focusing on the negative, then of course that's what you're going to feel. Right? But focusing on something that's positive. And then the other thing, when it comes to gratitude, that I was thinking about would be, I know for me, it's like, if there's an area in my life that I'm lacking, then I tried to step out and do the opposite. So we talked about honor, right? Respect and honor. So how can I honor, right? So whatever area it is that's being tested, okay, so how can I show honor in that area? Because
that's good.
We believe, what you sow is what you reap, right? Is that what's what you sow is what you
Yes.
Okay, good. So it's like, okay, so what is it that I can, put some seed in? So let's say it's gratitude, right? So what is it that I could be so thankful for and I can honor and respect? So then therefore I could start feeling that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it just makes me think too, like when you were talking about going back to the quality of gratitude, I think that if we can find that one thing that in the pit of our stomach, we are like, God, I'm so grateful for this. And really talking about the quality of that gratitude, if we can all find one thing in our life, it would really shift. I believe it would shift things, because we're obviously going into a season of holidays and Thanksgiving and all of that. But I do think that sometimes going into those holidays, we can actually start comparing. We can start comparing our life to somebody else's. And so instead of being grateful, because comparison is a thief of joy. And so, if you're going into holidays and instead of being grateful, you are comparing yourself, because you're like, whether you're maybe thinking, I'm not where I wish I was, or, well, I don't have, I wish I had this, and, this person has this, just that. And you guys, here's the thing, understand we all go through that. We all go through something in our life where we have to catch ourselves and say, you know what, enough is enough. Like, I'm not going to do that. But if you're going to a season with any of that, I just want to encourage you, find one thing that you could never stop thanking God for, and really give him that quality gratitude from the pit of your stomach, where it's like, God, thank you. And I believe that something will shift in your life where you are going to feel the joy, where you are going to feel loved. Because here's the thing, I think a lot of the times when we do go through, through challenges and trials in life, I think we start questioning a lot of things. And I think one of them could easily be like, well, God, do you even love me? Like,
Yeah.
I know I've asked myself that many times,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so if we can restore joy, and then like it says here, you know, if you enter the gates with thanksgiving,
Mm-hmm.
then you will understand that his love endures forever, you know? So it's like, there's going to be so many different things that are going to be restored and healed, you know, walking through that.
Yeah, that's good. It just reminded me of something else that I would say has really helped me is confession.
That's good.
You know, like Pastor Clyde always says, you know, tell the truth, shame the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the truth,
Yep.
shame the devil.
Yep.
You know, and so it's like when I start feeling this, like, okay, I don't know what to be thankful for right now, you know? And just going into prayer, you know, like never stop praying, just going into prayer and just saying, okay, the truth is right now, God, I don't feel it. You know, I don't feel thankful for whatever area it is. And then just sitting there and just handing it to him, you know, just, okay, so God, show me the truth. And then he will. You know, I remember when I was going through a really hard time in our marriage, I remember going to God and just saying, okay, God, show me the strengths of my husband.
That's good.
And he did. And sure enough, after a while, I was like not even noticing the things that I, you know, was trying to like nitpick and nag on. And all of a sudden I'm like, man, my husband's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's switching that focus. That's what I think, going back to the whole focus that we said earlier, it's like, okay, when you go into confession, and not like a, you know, religious confession, I'm talking like go into your room, like, you know, wherever it is that you spend time with God, like go there, you know, and just let it out to him.
Yeah.
Because he knows your heart, right? But he just wants to have a conversation with you. So when you go into this confession and just tell the truth, this is how I'm feeling, you know, and then let him speak the truth over you.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think I can really, you know, talk about one area right now in my life where I feel like I need to do this, you know, and obviously you guys know we said this, right? You know, in the beginning that we're not sitting here talking about things because we are perfect and we have it all together. We will talk about things that, you know, we're still walking out. And, you know, that one area for me right now is motherhood. And I feel like, okay, so we just had, you know, really cool conversation with a friend about motherhood and all this stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I am being so tested in this area right now, you know, and it's like, just like I've just been so frustrated the last couple days. And I know that a part of it is because I need to do this. Like I need to sit down and I need to really be grateful for everything, you know, because sometimes it's really easy, you know, when your kids are not listening or, you know, something is not right, it's really easy to get into a place of, what would be the word I'm trying to think of?
Like complacent?
Not complacent, but just like complaining you know, like
just negative.
Yeah. Just, you know, just complaining about everything and how hard it is to be a mom and I have to do laundry and I, you know, all these things when in reality, it's actually not doing anything good in my life by me doing that, you know? And so like, it just made me think, you know, that there is a lot of different areas where gratitude comes in. You know, one thing is obviously the biggest one is being grateful to God. But if you really think about it, family, marriage, husband, kids, all of it, you know, work, maybe you're like right now sitting there and you don't love your job and you're, you know, there's a million things that you're complaining about. But God is telling you, okay, but let's find something that you can be grateful for. You know, and so so for me right now it's definitely my children and motherhood. So
well, I remember when my oldest became a teenager, and I remember people would tell me like, "Good luck, like you got 2 more coming right after that," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I do," you know? I'm like, I'm gonna have 3 teenagers at once. Like, am I gonna be able to handle this? You know? And I remember when God started teaching me like to actually fall in love with my kids. Like I remember He would show me like, pay attention to how they do this and how they do that. And I'm just like, you know, I love my children, you know, like that kind of thing, you know? And, but then once they hit, you know, teenage years, sometimes it's really hard to focus on those good things. And you know, and trust me, I've had many times where I haven't.
Yeah.
But now I'm at a place where I'm like, man, teenagers are kind of the best. Like, they're pretty fun.
Yeah.
Because you get to be silly with them, and you know, you still, like, they still want your nurturing, and they still want your comfort, but it's like, you get to actually just have fun and talk to humans, you know?
Yeah.
So, again, it's just that switch.
It's a switch.
You know, it's that choosing.
Choice.
Yep. It's that choosing to, actually look at the situation different. You know, so yeah, we're talking about, you know, going into holidays, going into, you know, places that, you know, because holidays they're just a little different. You know, it's not like the routine of things. It just switches everything up. And so when things get switched up, it's easy for us to kind of be like, wait, whoa. Like, you know, I'm out of routine. I'm out of what I'm used to, which is good.
Yeah.
But it's so when you think about that, it's like, okay, I'm gonna walk into this so thankful.
Yeah, that's
you know, whether it's gathering with family, like how amazing that you get to gather with your family. Like there's people that don't get to gather with their family, you know, and so being thankful for that. Or if if you're like with friends that are family, there are people that don't have friends that are family, you know. So just looking at the situation in the, I would say, perspective and lens of gratitude.
Yeah, that's really good. I love that. Okay, well, do we have anything else?
Closing thoughts. No. No, I think just be thankful.
Yeah.
Have a attitude of gratitude.
I love it.
Have a heart of gratitude. I think that's what we were actually trying to say more.
Yeah.
More so is having the heart
of
of gratitude.
Yeah. I
So,
love that.
Thanks for listening.
Yes.